Okay, so welcome back. So let's get this party started and let's talk about how early game specialized industry can be used to help drive industrial, residential, and commercial demand for your city. So in this case, you may have seen this city before in Hexham and some of the other videos that I've made, which have just been more generalized, progressing the city. This one's going to be more targeted towards specialized industry. And so some of the items that I've updated here I pre-planned for our resource areas. So we have agricultural up top here. So if we're going to go ahead and review our natural resource grid, we have some agricultural space up north here. We have some rock right down at the bottom of the map here that we have unlocked, where we'll go ahead and put some rock, coal. I believe those are the only two that we have unlocked right now. But yep, so rock and coal down at the bottom here. And using these, basically building these 5 industries that we have an abundance of on this map so far, will help drive the demand of this industrial region, as well as fill out some of these residential areas that we have zoned, almost like little subdivisions. This one's zoned in the new beachfront areas, along with some parks to help support them. As well as this additional area where there's subdivision that I'm calling it a subdivision because it looks just like it, separate from our traditional grid system that we've made in the past. So this should be a little bit more exciting to see and grow. But those 2 areas will capture our residential growth and help support workers for our additional industrial support, as well as those specialized zones. So let's go ahead and get started up here in our agricultural region, and let's get a few of these items developed. So let's start out with the wonderful livestock farming. We can go ahead and add a farm to our street that we've built out here. I usually use dirt road for the farm, as it doesn't drive a lot of traffic in general, so you don't need anything too crazy, but you should stay inside you have to stay inside the circle for each of these specialized zones, and you should stay within the resource gathering region. So since we're not really gonna put anything on the south side, since there isn't a lot of land over here that has the goods, to say the least, go ahead and get this started and down south of the road. Alright, so we've got our livestock area. Then we have the opportunity where we could do grain here and carrots there, which is basically the grain and the vegetable farming. So we'll go ahead and put the grain over here, and since I follow the same suit, basically go to the road and bring it down. And we may have the opportunity to put one north side if we really needed to, but in this case, let's kind of just go right up almost to the highway, but leave some room for expansion if we need to. And up to the street, because again, if we needed to put additional farm, we could. Alright, so that's our grain, now our vegetable. And really, these farms are just going to be here to help produce items that would we have some complementary services so far, and in this case I'm just going to go around the roundabout, kind of cut in and cut over, again leaving some space around the highway if we needed to upgrade these off ramps. right. Let's take a look and see what our farms are. So before we go ahead and hit start or play on this map, we'll see we just have some fixed demand that will also increase and be satisfied. But here we go. We have our farmland, our livestock, our wheat, our grain, and then this is our vegetable. And all of the traffic is going to be driving through the highway, so we don't have to worry too much about any of that. One thing to note, though, when it comes to how I set up this specialized zone, is I use a 2-lane highway, which these do not come with any of the highways do not come with utilities like, say, a road would. So you can see here we have where it says power line capacity and pipes, all that stuff. That doesn't exist inside any of the highway items. So you do have to add electricity. So I have some overhead power lines going to these dirt roads to help support these farms and provide power. And then same thing with water and sewer. So I have that going down to going down this highway road to these dirt roads to connect them all, so that they have water and sewer and can be ran accordingly. All right, so we've got that. And our next specialized area that we're going to put in here would be the rock and coal. So we can go ahead and add that. Rock and coal, ore mining, all go on top of this ore, this dark blue region, which is the ore. And I'll put rock on one side and then ore on the other side of the road. Over here, because we won't have too much demand for coal since we do not have a coal power plant. I'm gonna go 1 square off. I'm not gonna fill in this area here. Just in case we need to fill in those regions with any other types of zoning other than just the specialized industry, which will have room on this side to add more, but over here I'll go ahead and add coal. Whatever we don't use within the city basically gets sold outside the city. So that's what we're going off of here. So if we had a rail yard, this one I'm going to go 1 out. So if we had a rail yard, it would get exported via the train. In this case, it's going to get driven out on a semi-truck, or also processed within any additional industrial regions there. And it's going to go out onto the highway that way. All right. So with these 5 different specialized industries, I'm anticipating a boom in supporting industries, as well as a boom in our single-family dwellings in these subdivisions. As you can see right now, we have 0 demand for that. Same thing with 0 demand for our medium-density residential. I expect some of this region in here, where we have some of these open spots because of how expensive housing is and the land value around here. We've had to delete some of these smaller residences that have become abandoned, where they've been moving up here, where the rent is a little bit cheaper or the land is cheaper. I expect us to be clearing out some of these zones and putting in additional medium density residential as demand drives. So let's go ahead and get this party started, and let's see how this specialized industry zones affect demand. So as you can see, our industrial demand is dropping. Same thing with our commercial, because we have some zoned commercial up here, which has been taken care of just based on where the game started. And you can see we're starting to get some ticks in our additional residential, or additional here. So you got almost meat, You got some mixing. You just have some additional industry that's going to support these. So we'll start seeing some like rock crusher and other agricultural supporting businesses moving in here. So right here we got full skill grinding, which is for the rock. And you can see here we're filling up, we're starting to fill in this residential area, this subdivision. Some additional housing, which will have some additional residents. And as we go, this whole area, I believe up here is all, is zoned commercial. So I'm expecting this area to fill and this area to fill here shortly. See here, we've got employees are starting to trickle in into each one of these areas. We got our beachfront properties and residential or commercial supporting these beachfronts popping up. Look at that right here. We got rock producing concrete. Here we got timber, but we don't have any of the timber industry in here because this is one of our only other areas. Is this guy? Which we could add at some point. But you can see we're filling out this industrial region and our residential zones are popping up and building. This is exactly what we would have expected by using the specialized industry. You can see now our commercial demand is starting to drive. I wonder if there's anything else that we're, from a commercial perspective, that would be expected to... Textiles, petro, textiles and vehicles. I wonder if start to see some demand specific to beverages, paper. Some of these are just basic. So this one makes food. So basically, how this works is we can go to our city economy tab, look at our production. So you can see we're making some. We're still at a pretty strong deficit for all of these items except for coal, because we don't really utilize coal. So basically in this, we're reducing our import needs by 13.9 tons, but we still need to import this much to be able to create, it looks like it does look like petro materials come out of this. You can see on the right where it says the types of uses for it. So it's processing, which is timber, and then heating for wood. Over here it looks like it's some beverages for our grains. The food is textile, or the livestock is textile and food. The vegetables, it looks like beverages as well as food. This cotton, once we would unlock cotton, that would come through as textiles, oil, again, petro, it looks like chemicals, and then here we've got metal, and then this coal looks like it's used for electricity, and glass, potentially, not 100% sure there. And then we got concrete and ore. So let's see here, this is for timber. So if we did have a lumber area, we would have timber, which, you know what, might as well. It's right here. Might as well just add it to it. again, you're doing the same thing, making the zones stay within the region. It's gonna bark at us because it overlaps with the power lines. It's not gonna like it because of those darn power lines. Which we could just go around because there aren't many trees around it anyway. Like any good transformer company, they would have taken care of the trees around it. There you go. So now we have some timber, and we should see some timber industries pop up and drive. So we can see here we got medium density. We're not seeing any single family or low density residential driving because we still have all of this available to be populated and filled in. So it is definitely driving the demands. So I'm gonna pause this quick and clean this region out, and let's put in some additional residential. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way, and we'll get the bigger guys in here. Medium density. Got that. And I'm going to zone the rest of this as commercial, which is a little deviation from what we've done in the past, but this will help drive some of that demand. Satisfy that demand, so you can see those those commercials took care of it. So what do we got? We got some timber. Look at, we got more timber industries popping up. Teach Stool Co. Did we show a deficit with rock? We did still show a deficit of rock, so we could add another rock over here if we wanted to. Save this for ore for when we unlock ore, which is, you can just hover over it and it tells you. So milestone 7, so in 2 more milestones we can go ahead and get that taken care of. So I'll just offset this just a little bit so driveways aren't competing on each other. This one we can go right up to the other zone and just call it how it is. Oops. Yeah, it's just easier sometimes to zoom in. There we go. Perfect. So now we have some additional rock. We'll get some additional employees coming in. Ooh, looks like a car accident with a fire. This is pretty cool. That's 3 on there. Let's see who's coming. So it looks like we got a police car and a road maintenance, and this guy, since it's on fire. Yep, fire engines are here. Perfect, in our police cars. And they're gonna clean those babies up. That accident cleared up and got out of the way. So anyway, deviation there. You can see now our industrial bar is pretty much, it's filling up again. We look at it. Wood one really did fill in. Well, I got a bunch more wood consumers making timber, which then will help with these. Oh man, our fire department's pretty busy today. At our plastic selling place, it's on fire. Let's see. Oh, we already got dead people here, so the hearse is coming and the fire department's putting the fire out. Alright. It's always daunting when you... Anytime there's really a fire and a fire engine takes more than like a minute, you basically get dead people. The hearse has to come to town. So, alright. Let's make this additional industrial. finish out our industrial demand, since that's going to be driven more. We can add some more industrial as well to these regions. Might actually just add some commercial to this side of the industry. Oops. There you go. Since we do have enough customers and enough people coming through here anyway because of work, because what is this mine? It's 25 people. Once we actually start filling things in, we'll start to have more folks coming to this area. Alright, just like Florida style, we have people dying to get out of these regions, so it looks like somebody died over here. And our hearse, look at that, our hearse just showed up right as we had to talk about it. Alright. See, we're driving demand. This area is already filled in with medium density residential. Just rezoned this to that. So we're good. So you can see that our specialized, especially early on, our specialized industries really do help drive that demand within our demand meter. Because look at this, these subdivisions are pretty full. They're starting to fill out. There's only a few more spots left in here if you're interested in buying. So yeah, stop on down and fill out your spot. And we're seeing these areas not really fill in because, again, land values are getting high in our core town area. And so you're seeing some of the promising availability here. That actually brings up a good point of let's fill out the rest of these beachfront property areas with additional beach zoning. I think just for funsies. I'm going to... Oh shoot, no, don't do that one. Zone these 3 properties as commercial just to help drive some, since there are customers out here anyway, that support. Basically, as you're coming in and out of this subdivision, you have got what, two entrances, one here and one there. The nice thing is I added turn lanes, basically the 3-lane road, so you have your dedicated turn lanes to exit to help manage that traffic flow. And look at that, that's completely filled out already. That is nuts that we just did that. And so our demand is spiking. Look at that, we got an additional medium density, which, you know what? Let's close the gap. Alright, so with that, I'm gonna... Oh, forgot to pause it. Did you see what I did there? This is why we gotta pause it. With that, I am going to rezone this and let those build, and then double check and see where we're at. Make sure we're good on the other city services. You can see we're starting to get a little high in our elementary school. And garbage dump is still good. Fire engine. I mean, from what we've seen, they've been pretty busy. There's a lot of area to patrol for our police department, so I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and upgrade our police department to have additional 6 cars, since there's a lot more area to patrol now that we have these 2 new residential zones. And then our commercial. So it looks like a lot of people are getting hurt out here, which is a good item to evaluate our ambulance region. So I mean, we don't have a lot of things going on here, but I would suggest adding on, since there isn't a lot of patients in here, just some additional capacity when it comes to our ambulances. So, as you can see, specialized industry really does drive demand because these areas really filled up. And when we started this, we had 0 in our residential demand bucket. So there's nothing really being asked for in this case. Alright, thanks for watching our recent video on specialized industry and how that improves our residential, commercial, and industrial demand. So if you like this, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and as we did with all of our other Hexen videos, let's take a stroll down downtown, one of our main streets. So let's check it out. Thank you.